What is going on, guys? It is Brett. I wanted to get into this video here today quick because I don't think that we're going to have time to cover it on the show this week. And I thought it was very interesting because this is a pretty hot button issue of debate, at least especially over on X, which is the discussion of recasting the role of Black Panther in Marvel's MCU. If you don't know, it was portrayed by Chadwick Boseman over many films. It's actually, if I'm being 110% honest, I liked Black Panther as a movie, but as a character, he's probably one of my favorite portrayals in the MCU. And I think when Chadwick Boseman portrayed him in his initial debut in Captain America Civil War, I think that might be one of my favorite pieces of, one movie character arc that I've ever seen from Marvel. And those Captain America movies, if you watch this channel, you know that those second and third Captain America movies are probably my two favorite Marvel movies that have been made, especially Winter Soldier. But the point being that the issue of recasting T'Challa has been a big point of contention because, of course, what happened was Chadwick Boseman was actually diagnosed with cancer in 2016. He passed away, I believe, in 2020, and he did not talk about his illness. There was a video that came out, during the pandemic where he looked very unwell, and people were having this dialogue back and forth. They were saying he looked sickly. Some people said he might be losing weight for a role, but it was a big bone of contention amongst people after he passed about what the right thing is to do there. Is it disrespectful to recast the character after the character the character is beloved, but also the actor is beloved? So we'll get into it. I want to go through this article. There's a couple of here from Cosmic Book News, and there's another article at the end that I also want to add to it because I think it's kind of indicative of where the MCU is going. So it says, Marvel recasting Black Panther claims rumor. So again, guys, as always, as you know, when these things are rumors, you have to take them with a grain of salt. Will they recast? Will they not recast? We won't know until it happens, but just take it with a grain of salt. So it says, it is claimed that Marvel is finally going to recast Black Panther for Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, and Black Panther 3, which is confirmed in development. And this is what the rumors say. It says, quote, Marvel is looking to recast Black Panther's hero T'Challa ahead of the two Avengers movies in Ryan Coogler's Black Panther 3. What's interesting, I suppose my first thought right off the bat was that it's an interesting choice to not choose to recast the character when Marvel, being so, reliant on the multiverse, being so instrumental in making multiverse stories this crutch that screenwriters use these days. They had that out right away. Like any half-wit writer could have written in a reason why T'Challa looked different in any given movie, and they chose not to do that. And Kevin Feige said it was because it would be disrespectful to do that. But as an aside, I just think it's interesting because they really did, probably more than any other genre, have the out that other genres just wouldn't. So it says Chadwick Boseman debuted as Black Panther in Captain America Civil War and would go on to star in Black Panther in 2018. What's crazy is, so I watch a lot of old procedurals. I love old television procedurals. It's perhaps my favorite genre. And one of the things that's crazy is Chadwick Boseman is a bona fide film star going on to portray many amazing characters, but he was also just very gifted when it came to doing bit parts or network television roles, guest starring roles. He had this ability, and I was talking with Olivia about this yesterday because he showed up. I was watching an old episode of the show The Glades, and he showed up as a musician. And in this episode, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, he does end up being the criminal, the killer in this episode of like a woman who denied his father a rite of passage that he deserved, and he gives this great performance at the end that just doesn't even seem possible for something that's as low stakes as a procedural like that. So to talk about his talent is not to be understated. I think he's an absolutely fantastic actor, and every time he's on screen he pops in. When he's in Captain America Civil War, there's those scenes, that first initial scene when Bucky is trying to escape and he's chasing after him, that was really one of my favorite scenes in all of the Marvels. He's hopping over the banister in the dress shirt, in the slacks, and there's just something commanding about his performance, the accent that he used to portray the character, everything that he pulls together, and then his bit of dialogue at the end with Zemo. It's some of my favorite Marvel filmmaking at all. So I at least understand the impetus. I understand the desire to choose to not recast him because you felt that it does a disservice to the actor. But the thing is here is that not everybody necessarily has that strong of a connection to the actor himself. What it is that Marvel relies heavily on the love and affection for these characters that span decades and decades and decades. So it may also be considered disrespectful to not recast because you're doing a disservice to the character of T'Challa himself, to the character of Black Panther. And of course, they did what they could with Letitia Wright, who is also a fantastic actress, but they did what they could with Shuri in Black Panther 2, which did not make the same money that the first Black Panther film made. But what they tried to do in that film, I just think was an uphill battle, because saying nothing of the script, saying nothing of the film itself, in the first Black Panther film, Shuri really is this great comedic relief, comedic addition to the film. You know, she brings out the comedic moments in an otherwise serious character of T'Challa. And in the sequel now, she's dealing with the burden of T'Challa dying, her brother dying from a mysterious illness, and that light from her character just isn't the same in the sequel that it was in the first film. So she was kind of given, an uphill battle from the start, and it just did not resonate with people the way that the first one did. So at least I can understand why they are now starting to believe that maybe perhaps more time has passed. It might be time to start thinking about recasting the character of T'Challa. So it says, this was what Feige said in the initial statement. He says, "I want to acknowledge the devastating loss of a dear friend and member of the Marvel Studios family. Chadwick Boseman was an immensely talented actor and an inspirational individual who affected all of our lives professionally and personally. His portrayal of T'Challa the Black Panther is iconic and transcends iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past." Again, see, as much as I loved it, there are other people who are going to say, somebody else deserves a chance, and we as the audience deserve a chance to get another great version of the character. If you look at DC, they have not shied away. Granted, more time had passed, to go back to the Joker. Well, granted, DC is more heavily reliant on the character of the Joker than, say, Marvel is on Black Panther. But as Marvel Studios continues to falter, their movie slate this year isn't looking the best. It may be time to start thinking, they're bringing back the characters. They're bringing back Chris Evans. They're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. What do we've got? We've got Brave New World coming out this year. That's the only one that I was mildly excited about, despite the fact that it seems like it's been in production hell and is going through all of the troubles that it's going through, having multiple script rewrites and reshoots. But Thunderbolts, as much as a lot of people believe that Florence Pugh is one of the brighter spots in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, her and David Harbour, I just feel that movie is going to be a lot closer to, say, a middle, Black Widow the movie, not Black Widow the character, than it is going to be to, say, Captain America Winter Soldier, when we talk about something being like a spy thriller in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's just, they need hits, they need wins, and one of the ways to do that is to bring back a character that really resonated with a large audience. I mean, that first Black Panther movie did, $1 billion, so it's fair to talk about. So they said that it's too soon to recast, and then Marvel producer Nate Moore said that when he was exiting of Marvel, he said that they wouldn't see T'Challa in the MCU ever again following the death of Boseman. He said, this is what he said back in 2021. He says, I will say the chances that you see T'Challa in I'm not hedging my bets. I'm being quite honest. You will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe. We couldn't do it. When Chadwick passed, it was a real conversation we had with Ryan Coogler about what do we do. It was a fast conversation. It wasn't weeks. It was a minute of, we have to figure out how to move the franchise on without that character. At no point did we consider recasting. The challenge of the Black Panther Wakanda Forever is telling a story without T'Challa. Here's the thing, guys. Like that may work in some facets, but right now, when you're making billion-dollar hits week and month in, month out, you may be able to explore those universes and get into these secondary side characters and hope that they can carry a movie. But if you look at a film like The Eternals, when you don't go with the established characters, with the ones that everybody knows and loves, you run the risk of apathy and people just not caring about your film, and that just seems to be what happened for them. So The death of Chadwick Boseman was unbelievably tragic. It put Marvel in an unbelievably crappy spot, but nobody really knows where they're going to be able to go from here. I don't know whether a rumor like this is actually true. I would like to believe that they would be able to find a healthy and respectful way to recast the character. And I think if it's done right, if it's done with love for the character, given the exit, they tried to pay respect to Boseman in Wakanda Forever, that the audiences would be willing to do that. And I think that they have to kind of give the audience the benefit of the doubt to do that. And if they don't, then they're going to continue to run into these problems, and Marvel hasn't been making the best decisions lately. Like I said, I'm kind of interested in Brave New World, despite the fact of all the rewrites and everything else. It's the only one that seemed mildly up my alley, despite the fact that I would have rather have seen Anthony Mackie. I just wouldn't rather have seen him. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. As much as I didn't really care for the series, I would have rather seen a Falcon movie on the big screen with the big budget special effects, less focus on social issues and more of a focus on the exploration of his character as Falcon, rather than putting him into the role of of Captain America, and then seeing Bucky take on the role of Captain America, or keep him as Falcon and have him portray in that one. I know he's going to be in Thunderbolts as well. So let me know down below, guys. Like, there's a fierce debate that's going on at any given time about. By the way, the rumor was from Jess Snyder. I don't know if I mentioned that before. Who's he's a big scooper on X and stuff like that. How often he's accurate or not, I don't have a chart on any of that. But I just want to know what you guys think, because the question of recasting T'Challa has been going on almost since the day of Boseman's death, right? Like, that's the way the internet is. And I would be interested to know, do you guys think that they should keep the character retired, focus on the side characters? I know a lot of people thought that they should bring Killmonger back. Michael B. Jordan, being a known quantity in Hollywood, a legitimate movie star, find a way to bring back an alternate timeline version of Killmonger. Do you guys think it is disrespectful to recast the role of T'Challa, to recast the role of Black Panther? Should they go with what they've been doing now, which is focusing on the secondary side characters, or should they find another fantastic actor to take over that role? Let me know down below. If you guys haven't, remember to tune into Pop Culture Crisis. We are live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. Me and Mary talk about everything. We talk about celebrity culture, internet culture, movies, television, all this stuff. I talk about comic books all the time. Let me know, guys. Talk to you soon. Later. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.